Hey there, Happy New Year. I don't know about you, but I am so excited to have an opportunity to start over and begin again and really focus on what projects I want to work on within my garden. And so today I want to go over with you my January checklist. Winter for me is always a great time to get outside and really think through what I don't have time to do in the summer in the crazy busy growing months. So I would love to share with you today what it is I'm doing in January, and I would also love to hear from you. Do you set checklist for the month, and are there any big projects that you are working on this month or even in the months to come? So I want to take you to my garden and show you what number one on my checklist is. So I know you may not have a huge garden, but it's always great to go ahead and plan your seeds, plan your flowers, plan what you want to work on. And that's number one for me is my garden. This garden I put in last year, and it was a lawn. It looked just like this lawn. And so all year last year, I battled weeds. I battled grass that had been tilled and was growing back. And so this year, I want to make sure that I have my weed control thought process ironed out. I want to make sure that I purchase the barrier that I want to put down, which is what I think I want to do this year. And I also want to plan where I want everything, look back over last year, and I also wanted to make sure that I am incorporating new things. So in this garden, I have vegetables, fruit, flowers, herbs, and actually have roses. And the roses are the only thing that's still in here. I do have some herbs, but we had single digit temperatures and they could not withstand it. So I need to plan what I want to grow in here, and then I need to purchase my seeds. And so that is number one, and I would encourage you to do the same. It is absolutely the best time. All of the box stores have their seeds out right now. All of the catalogs are coming in the mail, and it's a great time to purchase those seeds. All right, so let's go look at number two. So I'm in my greenhouse, and this is item number two. I have a mess. I have thrown things around as I've moved plants in and out for the weather, and I need to tidy up my workspace. And so I want to encourage you to do the same. If you have a place like a greenhouse or a garage or a potting bench, make sure you have that neat and tidy, which is what I'm going to do. I also want to make sure that I have all my tools that I need and that they are in tip-top condition. I'm cleaning up, I'm taking inventory, I'm checking out like what cell packs I've saved, how I can clean them up a little bit and make sure that I'm ready for anything that I may need it. Winter, as I said, is a great time to plan ahead, and you can get everything ready so that when you need it, it's there, right? Also, I am going to be winter sowing. Item number three on my checklist is collecting my containers that I will be using for winter sowing. If you do not winter sow, or if you've never heard of it, I want to encourage you, if you are thinking about starting any seeds whatsoever. I did this last year for the very first time. I have started seeds for decades, and I had never heard of this method. And when I heard about it, I was very skeptical. When I went through the process, I want to tell you it was life-changing. Not having to use grow lights, not having to harden off plants, not having to worry if they're thin enough or what's going on with them. Winter sowing is starting your seeds in a container that's translucent, that once you do the prep work, which I'm going to do a video on, once you put it together, you set it outside and you leave it. And then come spring, and you'll see the plants germinating and growing in here, and it is absolutely exciting. And then you take your plants, they're already acclimated to the outdoor temperatures, so there's not that hardening off period, and then you can direct sow into your ground, and the plants are so healthy. I had such great results last year that I had decided this year I'm going to winter sow everything that I can. I have been collecting containers, and I would encourage you over the month of January, go ahead and get your containers. You can have clear ones, you can have milk jugs, you can also use, I've started saving my water bottles. Somebody mentioned soda bottles work well, the 2 liter, and I'm sure if you just take the cap off, you don't need the cap, you can discard that. So January for me on my checklist is making sure that I have all the materials to do my winter sowing, and that is my containers and potting mix. You don't want to use a seed starting mix because you need something a little more sturdy for the plants that are going to be outside. And so potting mix, I'm going to start collecting bags. You need duct tape, a paint pen, tags, little tags. You're gonna write on the outside, but you also want to put a tag inside it in case the marker on the outside fades. So I'm going to be collecting that this month, making sure I have everything, and then February on my checklist is going to be actually doing the work. I'm so excited. So next up is this area behind me. This is on the side of my house where our air conditioning unit is. The sun is crazy right now, so I apologize. But I started the thought process of renovating this bed that wraps all the way around the back of my house. My plan was to go ahead and go visit nurseries, which I did, and also to go ahead and plant it. Well, we had freezing temperatures, and then the holidays happened, and so here we are. What I am going to do is really focus on this bed and thinking through what I want to put in here. I'm going to visit some nurseries in January, so that's on my checklist, is to get moving on this bed and really have a plan nailed down, because my plan is to plant this in early spring. So if you have any beds that you want to work on, add that to your checklist. It's a great idea. Fall is obviously the best time to plant, but spring is second. So spring it is for me. Let's go look in the front yard. Continuing my checklist in the front, I've got some beds that I need to clean out of some annuals that didn't fare too well in the single digit temperatures. I also want to prune back my knockout roses. Now is the time to do that. And again, more bedding plants I want to take out. I want to rethink this bed, and I want to add some plants. So as I go to the nursery for my backyard, I want to be mindful of some things I want to put in here. Okay, so this brings me to my big project, and this is actually for February, but I want to share with you about it because maybe you have a area or some shrubs that you want to do the same thing to. I am going to take these loropetalum, and I am going to do a pruning technique called rejuvenative pruning. And what I do with that is you prune it super hard. It looks like Edward Scissorhands got a hold of the plants. They look terrible. Looks like you don't know what you're doing. And then what happens is it causes the roots to regenerate. And, it really, really can be beneficial to the plant. However, you have to be careful that the plant that you are rejuvenating is one that can handle this type of hard pruning. The general rule of thumb is you never cut off more than a third. With rejuvenative pruning, you throw that out the window. I am going to take it probably in half. And, I also would warn you that you need to be okay with losing the plants should they not respond. These I'm okay losing. If for some reason they don't make it, I'm pulling them out. If they do make it and they grow back to where they're at, I'm going to pull them out. So rejuvenative pruning you can only do every 3 to 5 years. And so it's not something that, I can do again, and I'm not willing to wait that long to be able to take them back down again. So I am just letting you know, I'm going to do a video on that, but crazy thing is, I have 2 rows of plants here. I have these loropetalum, and then I have cleara in the back. And the cleara are the right plant for this location. They're planted in a raised bed planter, like a stone wall that I built. And the loropetalum were supposed to be the subshrub, and I was supposed to have the dwarf loropetalum, and well, we see what happened. So be sure you read the plant tags really well and make sure that you triple check if it's a subshrub going in front of another shrub, in other words, that it is the right plant. So biggie on my checklist for February is rejuvenative pruning. So last on my checklist for January is to attempt to repair my pottery fountain. So I don't know if any of you have ever done something where you knew better and you knew it would be a disaster and you just didn't really think about it until it was too late. Well, that's what happened with my fountain. So we had single digit temperatures and I removed all of my plants off of this porch. Literally took them all inside. I kept feeding the birds because it was so cold. And I even had on top of my fountain, I brought out a bowl every day and gave them fresh water. Key word, on top of my fountain. So what happened was my fountain was full of water because we had a couple of really nice days before the really, really cold came. And I knew better and I didn't dump it out and drain it. And you guessed it, the water sat in it, it froze, and I'll show you. Not one of my finest moments, obviously. So I've read online that I can epoxy the cracks. There are many cracks, but I'm going to attempt to epoxy the cracks and see if I can't fix it. This is my favorite part of this porch, and so that makes me so sad, but you know, that was bad on my part. Can I show you how beautiful this basket of pansies that my mother did? I just love it so much. I don't ever remember loving a basket of pansies so much. It's probably because it's very sentimental to me. But anyway, I want to encourage you to think through your checklist for January. And if you don't do anything other than check online for the new plants coming out, or think through what you'd like to plant, even if it's one plant or one flower, starting something from seed, doing anything to get outside. I think it's good for our hearts, our heads, our minds, our bodies, our souls. At least for me it is. And so I want to thank you for watching and coming along with me as I go through my checklist. And I hope you will come back and hang out with me a little bit more in another video. And I hope you have a chance to get your hands dirty. Take care.